Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this individual executive member decision. My name is Callum Wernham. I'm a Democratic and Electoral Services Specialist. Making the decision today is Councillor Lindsay Ferris, who's our executive member for planning and the local plan. And from the officer side of things, we have Judy Kelly, who's the head of infrastructure delivery and projects for WBC. And with that, I'll hand over to Judy just to walk us through the report and recommendation, please.
So the subject of this meeting is Wokingham Borough Council's response to a government consultation on a proposed new infrastructure levy for new developments. It's an initial consultation with the intention that the government will develop proposals further and issue subsequent rounds of consultation on proposed regulations over coming years. The intention is that the infrastructure levy would be a locally set and collected mandatory charge on new developments and potentially capture a higher percentage of gross development value of a completed development. The councils would spend these levies on infrastructure projects, which would be set out in new infrastructure delivery strategies developed through community engagement and examination in public. Amendments to the current system of Section 106 planning obligation agreements are also proposed, but in general, further clarity is required about how the system will operate in practice. The Council's detailed response to the consultation is included in the appendix of the report, which I don't intend to go over. I just draw attention to a couple of key aspects. The consultation proposes that the payment of infrastructure levies would take place at the end or completion of a development rather than at commencement of building works, as is currently the case under the community infrastructure levy system operated by the council. This does raise concerns about how infrastructure can be funded in a timely manner without placing additional financial pressure of borrowing on councils. The consultation proposes a new right to require system for securing affordable housing through the infrastructure levy, which aims to reduce the risk that affordable housing contributions are negotiated down on viability grounds. Whilst the intention is that the new system will deliver at least as much affordable housing as delivered through the current system, further detail is required. The Council's opinion is that the process is overly long, complex and resource intensive. This is borne out by the government's intention for the new infrastructure levy to be tested and refined over a number of years by test and learn local authorities before potentially rolling out the system nationwide in 10 years' time. The Council would suggest that it would be preferable to investigate amending the existing community infrastructure levy regulations, which are working well, to enable a further levy payment at the end of the process to capture an appropriate proportion of gross development value. I'll pass over to Councillor Ferris if you have any questions or comments.
Thank you. Judy, on that, I think you mentioned about the affordable housing. One of the concerns that was raised when we're going through this is actually being able to work out exactly how much affordable housing the calculations requires. Could you just give a brief description of what is being proposed? Because that was something that you touched on, but it would be quite useful for people to hear.
Certainly. So the current system at the moment is that the percentage of affordable housing to be delivered by a development site is set in policy. So it's a simple, for example, 35% of units will be affordable on a site. Under the government's proposed consultation, a certain proportion of the overall levy sum would be fixed as an affordable housing contribution. So, for example, 50% of the levy would be towards affordable housing, and the council would have a right to require the developer to deliver an equivalent proportion of affordable housing on their site based on what that financial value works out to be. So there needs to be a process to convert the financial value into the number of units for the different types of tenure, taking into account the discount that the registered provider gets on each unit compared with market housing. So considerably more complex.
Complex in working out how many homes. Okay, that was, I think, an important issue. I have been through it and we've had several discussions. So I've got my following comments. And touching on what you were saying, Judy, I think the general view is what is being proposed is extremely complex. There are lots of ambiguities within the proposals. It feels like there's questions are being asked and they're wanting to find an answer. There's concern whether such a process will provide sufficient monies to cover the infrastructure costs required. At the moment, the SIL money, at least part of it, comes in at the beginning which helps the councils at least start the project, whereas they're talking about providing either the majority of it or all of it towards the end. And that means that the councils will have needed to borrow money to do the infrastructure required to make a development take place. So I think there are quite significant concerns on that point. And we were just touching on the affordable homes. There's significant concern whether the new system would deliver the real affordable housing to meet local needs. And I think that was very important. And I have to say the timing of the consultation, which occurred over the recent local election ending, I think it's the 9th of June, was fairly short, to say the least. We would have hoped that we would be given a longer period to comment on something as complex as this. So we've, as the council and Judy's touched on, there's 45 questions in the proposals, and the council have given their responses to each of those. Some are yes, some are no, some are maybe, as you get, and a number of others have asked questions. So I'm in a position to sign this off, and I agree with the proposals being sent forward.
Thank you, Lindsay. So just for anybody watching online, I'll just quickly read out the recommendation that's set out on agenda page 5. And the recommendation is that the executive member for planning and the local plan agrees that Woking Borough Council submit the comments contained in enclosure 1 as this council's response to the government consultation, technical consultation on infrastructure levy, March 2023. Just to confirm, Lindsay, you're happy to make that decision?
Yes, I am.
Fantastic. We'll just sign the decision sheets. Thank you very much. So subject to the standard 5-day call-in period, this decision and the enclosure 1 will become the council's formal response to this consultation. And with that, I will close the meeting. Thank you very much.